Hello, beautiful soul family. Rebecca here. Welcome to Monday Mastery, where we take an intuitive read on the energies of the previous week, kind of get a sense of where we're at from a solar weather and Schumann resonance and possibly a little astrology perspective for a brief minute before we get into the timeless message. Whenever you find this, you can trust whatever that timeless message may be is exactly what you need to hear right now. So happy to be here with you. I love Monday Mastery. What's really interesting is I have a brief question for you before we dive in today. How much do you love this session? I am really torn, coming into some understanding around a YouTube algorithm and how it works and how it finds your ideal client, your soul family, how it draws people in is based on the style of the video. And if you follow me for a while, you know I do Monday Mastery on Mondays, and then I do more of an educational style video sometime later in the week, usually on Saturdays, sometimes Sunday. What I'm finding is this variation in style of content draws into different kinds of people, and it confuses the algorithm, and it's actually preventing the growth of the channel to have two different styles of videos. So I have a couple of options. We can continue to do what we're doing and hope for a different results, which I do believe is the definition of insanity. Or we could move to another platform for the Monday Mastery videos. There could be a second channel. I already actually have a second channel. If you don't know, there's a shorts version, so a Vibe Mentor Shorts channel. I could potentially put it on there. It wouldn't harm the shorts necessarily. But the other thing that I'm leaning towards is doing a live on TikTok, because TikTok is sort of my secondary priority. I would say YouTube and TikTok are kind of the two top priorities. I love both platforms. I consume on both platforms in my downtime when I'm ready to spend my time that way. So I want to hear from you. Do you love TikTok? Do you dislike TikTok? Do you prefer to stay on YouTube? How much do you love these sessions? Would it be better if what we did is take that sort of timeless message that comes through on Mondays and just wrapped it in more of an educational style video? And I could even just post in the comments what the solar weather, Schumann resonance, and energy update is. So love to hear from you. Help me brainstorm. Truly, you are my soul family. I am literally on planet Earth for you, to help you thrive, to help you step into your purpose and heal trauma. So I'm here for you. You are the hero at the end of the day. Only you know what is right for you. Of course, I will have to do the same for myself and follow my own guidance, but I do want to hear from you. What do you need? What do you prefer? Do you have any thoughts and ideas? We can brainstorm. And of course, I will reserve the right to follow my guidance, but I do want to hear from you. So let's dive in. We have a lunar eclipse tomorrow. And it's funny because I am well aware of astrology. I usually know exactly what's going on, and I have been aware of this coming in the 6 weeks prior, as usually is important to be aware of. And yet I have forgotten to deliver that message to you for the last few weeks, which is really interesting. We trust that divine timing is perfect, so there's a reason for that. But we're here today to say, ooh, this is going to be fun. We can feel it already. We're already in it. As you know, with the typical full moon and new moon, we feel intensity 3 days before and 3 days after. But when you're in eclipse season, you usually feel it a couple weeks before and for a couple weeks after the second eclipse. And this is the first of two. So we are in the intensity, and we're going to be in the intensity for a little bit, for a couple more weeks. So ground, rest, drink lots of water, eat your root vegetables to really help the body stabilize. And most importantly, when you ground, make sure your feet are on the actual ground. It's very, very important. Also very important because of the solar weather that we've experienced the last couple of days. Generally mild start to the week, 7 M flares on Monday, 2 on Tuesday, 6 on Wednesday, and then the intensity hit. We did have a mild Schumann resonance spike on Monday, but the rest of the week was quiet from a Schumann resonance perspective. But then on Thursday, we had an X-class solar flare. We had a geostorm, which went up to a KP7 and a G3 geostorm on Thursday, relatively sustained into Friday. The highest we saw on Friday was a G2 or KP6. And then we had 11 M flares on Friday, 4 C flares, which led us into the Saturday X 4.54 solar class. Yes, X 4.5 solar flare, X class solar flare. Goodness, that was a hard one. And I still have yet to find or receive guidance on why exactly we see a spike in solar weather around the moons, but it has been very consistent for many months now. So, wow, big solar class, X class solar flare, big eclipse seems to coincide. That led us into, we had very minor 2M class and 3C class solar flares on Saturday with that X class. On Sunday, we were back down into normal range of a 6C class solar flares. We did have some increased solar winds, no surprise, KP4 sustained. So just a little bit of a geostorming. And that's what's interesting is since the X class solar flare, we have had a KP4 pretty consistently on the KP index, which is geostorming. It's minor, but it's more elevated than normal. And I've noticed a lot of fatigue coming with this, a headache, needing to nap, things of that nature. Kids are quite emotional. And then, of course, into today, so far, only 3 C-class solar flares, and again, still sustained KP4 activity on the KP index. So there's that. It's fun stuff as long as you know what's going on. Otherwise, if you don't, it can seem really activating to the nervous system, and you can wonder, why am I so tired all the time? Or why do I have a headache? So now you know. Again, put your feet on the ground. This past week energetically has been interesting and fun, I would say. A lot of internal shifts, a lot of awarenesses, a lot of big changes energetically, vibrationally, shifts in perspective, shifts in alignment to this new phase that we're stepping into. While it has been exhausting to have some of the solar weather, there's been more discipline available, more motivation, more energy while fatigued. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it does for me. It's interesting how there's even external progress. We're starting to see some of the manifestations of this internal shifting that's been happening for many weeks and months now. And as I have been referencing for quite a while, something happened in June and July where we went backwards a little bit. It was a retrograde personally, if you will. And we put our feet back in the pond of the old world, the old life, to kind of feel like, am I sure I can let this go? And now we've kind of come back out and said, no, we're committing to this new path. We're committing to what we know needs to happen, even though it's uncomfortable, even though it seems like the hard thing to do. In the end, it's going to be the thing that leads us closer to God, closer to the divine, closer to oneness, closer to unity, closest to our highest selves and our highest timeline. So it does feel like things are moving, and yet there's a requirement, as always, of our participation, of our action, and putting effort to move, or even putting effort into having the boundaries around our moving forward and not taking the past with us. The insights, the progress, the new vision seem to be coming faster as far as images and thoughts and awarenesses and sensing into the future and really knowing that it is materializing in this moment and getting that confirmation and clarity. And this constant, it's almost like a check-in, like, are you going forward? Are you going backward? Are you going forward? Are you going backward? Are you aligned to this new path? Where's this stickiness? Right. And sensing, okay, I know this is what is being called of me. I know this is what I'm going to have to let go of. I really don't care to let go of this old thing. I love these people. I love this situation. I enjoy my life. It was comfortable, whatever it is for you. And yet I do know that I need to go in this direction. I do know that I need to let go of these things to follow my purpose, to follow the plan that God has for my life. And feeling into the stickiness of that, right? Where's the rub? Why am I not willing to let go? What am I believing about the past that I want to cling on to? What parts within me are holding on to old beliefs or old ways of being? What part of me is scared about what's coming? And what part of me is scared of the uncertainty? And really feeling into the stickiness, because your desires plus non-resistance equal the realization of your desires. And so the divine is trying to bring in what is right for you, what is good for you, the best, highest plan. And yet if we've got stickiness around what we believe is coming, or we believe our capacity to move into that, and or what we're afraid of letting go of, that's going to delay the process or cause more pain and suffering along the way. So really feeling into the stickiness is, I think, probably maybe that's the title for today. That's probably the primary theme of where we're at right now is, I mean, when you start to practice trauma spotting, it's not just about healing trauma. It's really about removing blocks and feeling into the stickiness and feeling it. It's as if these beliefs, these ways of being, these subconscious programs are weaved in between the fibers of our being. And so you really have to get nuanced in understanding what am I really experiencing? What am I really thinking? What am I really feeling? What is really my vibration? And you get so good at it that you can kind of feel as if just the slightest sway left or right is a little out of alignment, and very quickly and very easily, it's almost as if you bring your eyes back on God, right? Oh, there's a fear. Whoa, back on God. Oh, there's a concern, right? And it's this constant course correction, and that's what I call the stickiness, right? Where you can kind of feel that I've just swayed a little bit or veered off the course a little bit. I know that's a really tough thing to articulate, so let me know if you're following along, if it makes sense for you. There is more movement, like I mentioned, externally, moving up and through is the way that it feels. As long as we are not clinging to the past, we are committed to the changes and doing what we've been asked to do and moving forward. There is the momentum and the moving up is palpable. It's almost as if we're preparing for or training for, if you think about running a marathon, you can't just go run a marathon tomorrow. You will hurt your knees if you don't prepare enough. And I can speak from experience. You have to run every day. You have to start with a mile or two and warm up and add a little bit more every couple of weeks and have a significant time period of preparation to be able to run a 26-mile run. So that is the general sense of where we're at right now. It's like we're on the training grounds. We're preparing for the breakthrough, but you have to train for it. You have to be ready. You have to get up and you have to move. You have to take action. You have to get your blood flowing. You have to strengthen your brain and your body. And remember that this process of ascension is facilitated by the physical body, that it is not just a spiritual experience up here in the mind and connecting and astral traveling, but rather being grounded in this time and space that we chose to come into so that we can be effective and can contribute our purpose the way we were intended to. And that requires a physical health, that requires movement of the oxygen and blood through your body. It requires a healthy brain, that requires and I cannot reiterate the term movement enough. I don't know if you've noticed, but that has been a theme over the last week or two, is get up and move, whether that's moving towards your purpose and taking action to build a business or to move through your traumas, or it's to actually move your body, get your body healthy. Of course, all of these beliefs and the blocks and the traumas and the stickiness, it lives in the body, literally in the fascia, in the cells, in the nervous system of your cells, in your lymph, in your blood. So it requires physical health as much as it does spiritual alignment. It requires movement in every possible way. Trusting ourselves, learning to reunite with the body, feel the body again, and really listen to. There is guidance coming through your body. Your body is the vessel of the spirit, which means it is the conduit for communication with the divine. And so anytime you think a thought and you feel like crap, it's telling you you're misaligned to truth. If you think a thought and it feels, you got the hell yeah, that feels right. Not the ego, I want the potato chips, but the yeah, I don't really want to do that thing, but that feels right. I know I need to do that. That is the beauty of the body and its gift of communication and feedback, and its ability to help us ascend and to come back into unity and oneness. Right. So ask for guidance on any missing pieces, feel into what feels right for you. You'll notice I use the term God, and I reference Christ as my guide and someone I work with who is a beautiful gift to show us how to live this life called, the beautiful gift of life is what I intended to say. I'm not sure where I was going with that. But I also am very careful about exploring the dogma and the religious trauma that I grew up with, and careful not to externalize God or the kingdom of heaven, knowing that it is within, and careful not to look outside of myself for guidance, clarity, confirmation, but rather that should be something that we seek through our connection with the divine that is facilitated through the body. So all that to say, feel into what feels right. And if you feel stickiness around that, learn how to get into the body, learn how to look at that and get that out so that you can ask for the guidance and receive the missing pieces of information. And I love using the analogy of like Marco Polo with God, right? So it's a constant ping back and forth. Where are we at? Where do you want me to go? What should we do? What should we say? But also recognizing that it's not a superiority complex, but rather, God loves you so much. He wants you to be part. He not just wants you to be part of the process, you have to be part of the process. You already have wisdom and insight within you. God wants you to ask questions so that you can receive the answers, and know that it is a co-creation. It's a collaboration. Of course, the creator of the universe will always have dominion and authority. But there are times where he's going to kind of go hands off or back up a little bit so that you come forward, so that you can say, that doesn't feel right to me. That feels like something's missing. I need more information. God, tell me the truth here. Right. And that is your role in this, is taking power and authority in your life so that you can learn how to be effective and be a creator like you were created to be, to help create heaven on earth. Right. Got a little stuck on that point. So we're going to move a little quicker through the rest. We are receiving guidance. We are receiving clarity and confirmation all the time. You got to trust it. You got to believe it. You got to open to receive it. You got to move forward with it once you receive it. Reaffirming our commitment to the path is just that constant realignment, feeling into the new path and integrating the new identity. It's really interesting. This was so palpable for me over this weekend, especially I think because of the the X-class solar flare, which I'm noticing has an impact for up to 72 hours after it's initially launched. We're expecting the CME this afternoon. So know that this energy is still coming in. But there was a sense of as if I could palpably feel this next phase as if it was already here. I could feel it in my body. And yet if I were to open my eyes, the expectation of the brain is where I'm at right now. And it was almost as if the distance between the two, that I can feel it. I know we're here. I know it's already done. It's already happened. And yet the brain and its expectations of, yeah, but we just went to bed, in that house, in that bed. So we must wake up there. Right. And so it's almost a moving closer to the quantum jumping of actually just opening your eyes and being in a new place, which is an interesting conversation I just had a little bit ago with a beautiful friend that you will meet very soon. My favorite human being of late. But anywho, so yes, sensing into what is already here and those expectations slowing us down a bit. And so really wrapping our minds around the 3D rules versus the 5D rules. Right? What we see around us is just an echo of the past. It is not reality. I literally am seeing the past in this moment. And so recognizing that we get to retrain our brain and our reticular activating to see the future very soon. Working on that right now. So get excited for the future, but don't be impatient. Recognize it's already done. It's already here. And just open your eyes, command your body, your eyes, your brain to see the future, see the evidence of provision, see the evidence of freedom, see the evidence of healing, see the evidence of the dream that God has put on your heart to guide you towards your purpose, right? We're not forcing. We are not clinging. We are allowing the old to fall away. This is key for me. Some of you may also struggle with this, but I tend to see things very clearly as far as what's coming. And I don't want to say it's not in a necessarily a good way, but sometimes I can get ahead of myself because I'm like, I already know where we're going and I already know all the things that need to happen to get there. So let me just hurry up and do them. And sometimes it's not time for those things to be done. So we have to let the old fall away on its own and not force or control or try to push. We truly have to trust it is all falling into place all on its own without your pushing. right? So hold yourself through this, because it can be really uncomfortable to say, I know this is falling away. I know in 6 months to a year, this is not going to be here. And that can be really uncomfortable, because it's like, well, where am I going to be? And so we have to learn to hold ourselves. Again, the beauty of trauma spotting is not just about trauma. It's about feeling into those blocks, feeling into what's happening inside of you, recognizing the parts of you that are showing up and who needs you to hold them. Learning how to hold yourself through this. Keep yourself safe, keep yourself strengthened, keep yourself encouraged, keep yourself positive and optimistic, and creating positive days every day, one after the other, no matter what the outside looks like, remembering that everything that we see is the past, evidence of the past, right? So learning to hold ourselves through this, trusting God. I know I've mentioned the last couple of weeks, it's worth mentioning again, because it's been really important for me personally, is the verse Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans to prosper you and to give you a hope and a future. And for a long time, my inability to trust Source, God, the creator of the universe, was because I didn't trust that his plan was good. I thought his plan was painful. I thought his plan was going to hurt me. I thought his plan was going to strip everything away from me. And so when it came time to strengthen the body or give up things that were not good for me, I didn't want to do it. It's like, what else are you going to take away from me? Right? It's already hard enough. I need this thing to feel better. And when you move into, I trust the universe is conspiring in my favor. I trust the creator of the universe has a plan for my life, and it's better than anything I ever could fathom. Then I can say, okay, God, you want me to let go of this thing? I love that person. They may not be good to me. They may not be good for me, but I love them. And I don't want to let them go. But if that's what you want, I will trust you. And if that is what you want, you're going to have to make it happen. And leave it there. Let God take care of the how, right? Remember, the universe is conspiring in your favor. The best is yet to come, better than you ever could have imagined, but you have to believe that. So this is another thing that I've moved through in the last few weeks. Is it was my belief that God's plan wasn't as good. It was my belief that God's plan was more painful, that caused my own suffering, caused the stickiness, caused the stuckness, caused the slowdown, causes the suffering. But when I can move into, I know the creator of the universe created everything we see here, and it's freaking amazing. There's something even better than I ever could have anticipated coming. That's when good things start to happen. And I can tell you, quantum leaping, quantum jumping is happening faster and faster every day through these shifts of awareness, right? Through the movement of the body, movement of the mind, movement of the beliefs, movement of the perspectives, and movement of a willingness to let go, right? So remember, look at what you're saying when you talk to yourself. What are you creating? Your words are creating your reality. Your spells are literally, or your words are literally casting spells over your life. So speak life into yourself, into your body. Use your body as a barometer to figure out where you're at in alignment and stickiness. And remember, you will experience what you anticipate. You will experience what you expect to experience. It is a belief. And everything you see around you is evidence of the past, not of the future. So be very careful about, oh, this is reality. We know, science has shown us, reality is what you choose to perceive. Okay. You will experience what you choose or anticipate, right? Remember, it is a battle within you. Choose love. You can be a loving, powerful warrior. You can be strong. You can be decisive. You can be cutting and also be loving, right? Love and light always win. It's just a question of how much suffering you will experience along the way. I love you, my friends. I'll see you on the next one. Do check out this last video posted this weekend about the 5 stages of the heart and becoming more magnetic. It really simplifies the stages of awakening, the stages of the nervous system, and it connects it with heart coherence. It is so fascinating how this beautiful vessel of a body is such a gift. and so critically important in our process of ascension. So definitely make sure you check that out on the YouTube channel. If you're watching this on Facebook, you can jump over to youtube.com/Vibe Mentor. Otherwise, my YouTube family, I love you so much. Let me know what you need, and I will see you on the next one. Namaste.